What's up, everybody? Week 14, we're back. Buffalo Bills recap. Coming off a huge win yesterday for the Bills. Traveled to Arrowhead, knock out the Chiefs in a game that was basically a must-win for the Bills. They took care of business. Before we get into any of the things that you're probably seeing all over social media and ESPN and whatnot today, we'll do a quick breakdown for you. Like I said, Buffalo gets a win that they absolutely needed. They went into Kansas City, and it was evident really early on that this was a team that was fresh. Coming off a bye, they looked prepared in the first quarter and first half in general. They looked really good. They come out and force the early interception. Don't capitalize on it, but they're able to create a turnover, and on their second drive of the game, they march right down the field. Josh finds James Cook on a seam for just a simple, easy walk-in touchdown for him, or a flip-in touchdown. The defense was really, really playing Mahomes and the Chiefs tough. Was able to keep them off the scoreboard and gave the ball right back to the offense. And man, second drive of the game, same thing, man. They marched right down in there, and then Josh Allen turned into Superman once again and basically carried his whole team from the 10-yard line into the end zone and put Buffalo up 14 points in the first quarter real quick. And I think it kind of caught the Chiefs, by surprise a bit, it seemed like. Especially, after finding themselves down 14-0, their offense stalled out again and gave the ball right back to Buffalo with a chance to go up possibly 3 scores before the half. And the Bills were moving. They were pinned deep in their own territory, and they were able to get out to almost midfield. And Josh just throws an ugly pick, one that we can't have right there. It was third and medium-ish, and just tried to do a little bit too much. I think maybe he saw it as we were playing with house money or what there, but forced the ball that he didn't need to force, and definitely swung momentum real quick. Kansas City was able to capitalize, get a touchdown, get right back in the game, and Buffalo had a shot there at the end of the first half to try maybe a long field goal. Would have been, I think they said, about 60 yards, probably right on the fringe for Bass, depending on how the wind's blowing and whatnot. If I'm the coach there, I'd probably let him try the field goal, because at the same, it's probably going to give you the same success rate as the Hail Mary gives you. So, but they don't. They let Josh heave it up, and we go to halftime with the Bills leading. Again, it's the NFL. It's the Buffalo Bills. You're never comfortable until there's zeros, on the clock at the end of the game. But the way the team looked in the first half, man, it was definitely a confidence booster, for the fan base. And they come out, get the opening kickoff for the second half, and able to march down the field. They get stalled out. Bass kicks a field goal. Bills go up by 10, and then it kind of seems like Kansas City found its groove. They were able to add a touchdown, cut it, real close there, down to 3. Buffalo just, man, their offense after the opening drive, man, they were real stagnant. They didn't really have much of a rhythm. They didn't have. It seemed like it was almost Ken Dorsey-esque in a way. They got away from what was working, and they were oversimplifying what did need to be. And drives were stalling out, and it allowed Kansas City to crawl back into the game. And they kick a field goal there in the fourth quarter, and we're tied at 17. And Bills fans, man, it's just it seemed like it was going to be another here we go again game. And I tell you what, man, it was a gutsy performance there late in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen gets the offense, rallied just enough. They take time off there in the fourth quarter. We'll touch on that in a minute. And they're able to kick the go-ahead field goal under 2 minutes. And like I touched on last video, this Bills defense, when given the lead and less than 2 minutes to go, it seems like they falter every single time this year. And you look up, and it was, I believe, 1:55 left on the clock was the exact time. And man, as a Bills fan, knowing who you're going up against, that just felt like forever. It felt like Kansas City would, at the very least, be able to easily tie the game, let alone, that much time and 2 timeouts. There was a good chance they could have went down there and put 6 up if they, played like the Kansas City team that they were in years past. But much credit to the defense there. They stiffened up. They realized, I think, what they were playing for there, and they made life difficult. Kansas City came out and got a big hitter and got them, right on the fringe of field goal range, it seemed like. And after some penalties and, a sack and whatnot, it pushed Kansas City back to about midfield. And then, the whole dramatic theatric, whatever you want to call it, tantrum, I think, for lack of a better term, from Mahomes there at the end. And fourth and 15, I think, is what it ended up being. And Mahomes throws it over the middle of the field, incomplete. Buffalo's able to nail it out and walk away with a win. They move to 7-6, right in the thick of this AFC wildcard playoff fun. And it's still baffling to me that we're in this position to begin with. As coming into the season, like I said, we've kind of become spoiled here lately, and it seemed like every year it's like the playoffs are a guarantee. It's just, what seed are you going to get? Can you finally get the 1 seed? Can you finally have home field advantage? And, here we are mid-December, and we're on the outside looking in still at a playoff spot. I think they did Pro Football Focus's playoff odds maker projector, whatever it is. Now it gives Buffalo a 41% chance to make the playoffs now. And 2 weeks ago we were at 20%. So I guess we're heading in the right direction. This win was huge. I mean, it was obviously a conference game. You got to have the conference games. That's what's hurting the Bills right now. There's I believe 5 teams at 7-6, and Buffalo loses the tiebreaker to all of them currently. So that's why Buffalo's stuck in, I believe they're in 11th place right now in the AFC. And yeah, conference wins are what you're going to need, and that was a huge one yesterday for Buffalo. And you look at the games they have coming up. They have Dallas, obviously non-conference. That's at home. That's going to be a huge game next week in Orchard Park. And then after that, you got conference games. You got the Chargers, you got the Patriots, you got the Dolphins. And for Buffalo, like I've said, I feel like they need to win out. I guess theoretically they're saying, if Buffalo were to drop this upcoming game to Dallas, since it's not a conference game, but then win the other 3 games since they are conference games, that more than likely that would get them a playoff spot. I don't know. I mean, those guys get paid a lot of money to look at all the nuts and bolts of it. But either way, I think Buffalo's in the mentality right now is it's playoffs every week for them. They've got to win. And they looked, for the most part, they looked like a team fighting for their season yesterday. And it's a shame that, a day later, rather than talking about how the Bills went into Kansas City and, Josh Allen is now the only person, I believe they said, to beat Patrick Mahomes at home 3 times in their career. Rather than seeing anything that praises Buffalo, all you're seeing today is the NFL officiating being questioned. And Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in the media complaining and calling out the refs. And it's sad is what it is. Speaking from personal experience, I can't tell you how many times I have watched a Bills game where it has come down to a freak play like that, and the call never goes our way. I mean, it never goes our way so much that yesterday when I saw that flag on the play, and then they come back and then they said offsides, I immediately, just, all right, well, Josh, you got a minute 12 left. Let's go see if we can't come back and answer this game. And then when I heard him say second down, then I realized it was actually on Kansas City. And I mean, it never goes Buffalo's way. And to see him, especially a guy like Andy Reid, who is like so beloved in the NFL and has so much respect from just pretty much everybody in the league, to come out and publicly, criticize the officiating on a call that they got correct. I mean, basically what they're saying is you can't throw a penalty there. Why? Why can't you throw? It's a penalty. He's offsides. After the game, they did I don't know what it's technically called, but it's a post-game breakdown from the officials with somebody, and they asked him about the play, and he said that he was so far offside that it was impeding the officials' ability to see the football placed on the field. I mean, so what would he have them do? It's a flag. They called a penalty. That's their job. If roles were reversed and the Bills had some funky play that was able to give them the lead late in the game, and say it was Diggs that was lined up offside, they would be screaming. And it's funny because there's a lot of people out there that have always said that the Chiefs are the new Patriots, where they get every call and the refs are in their pocket and blah blah blah. And I don't know, maybe, but they definitely have gotten the benefit of a few non-calls over the years. And I lost a lot of respect yesterday for Mahomes and for Andy Reid. Rather than take their loss and move on, they had their little outburst yesterday. I mean, hell, at the end of the game, for as good friends as Josh and Mahomes are, after the game, Mahomes, rather than come up and be like, hey, good game, stay healthy, good luck the rest of the year, your typical post-game interaction, he's complaining to Josh Allen about the call. Like, man, you can't have that call there. That's crazy. And, bleep, bleep, bleep. And it's like, where's the humility, man? Where's the sportsmanship? I mean, that's stuff you're taught in Pee Wee. And it's a terrible look for them. And hopefully there's some kind of fine associated with that, because you can't have an MVP of the league, a Super Bowl winning quarterback / coach of the league come out and have those kind of comments about a call that was correctly made. So I don't rant over for now. I will say a couple things about the Bills from yesterday, that I think are still concerning for me moving forward. The offensive line yesterday was not very good. Josh seemed to be under constant pressure, it seemed like. And normally he's able to obviously be the athletic freak that he is and get out of the pocket and make plays, and he did. But there were a couple times, man, where the pressure was just so so much in his face so quick that, it definitely altered a lot of plays, and I think that may have been part of the problem in the second half. James Cook was, he was a big part of the game plan early on, and for whatever reason, they quit calling his number in the second half. I don't know what that was all about, and the offense definitely did start to sputter a bit. I don't know. I don't assume there was any injury. I didn't see anything listed after the game or during McDermott's presser today, so I don't know what that was all about. And the other thing I think that's really glaring for the Bills is their lack of a second wide receiver. I have said it for weeks now. Gabe Davis is not a wide receiver 2. He's a wide receiver 3 at best on a 500 ball club, let alone a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. And it's very evident when coming into games, teams know Steph Diggs. He's the guy you can't let beat you. So you take him away. Well, who's Josh got after that? You're supposed to have Gabe Davis that's able to get separation and make plays for you. Yesterday, again, another game this season, 0 receptions. You had, I believe, before the fourth quarter play where he found Hardy on that third down conversion, he didn't have any completions to a wide receiver downfield. Everything else was these quick outs to Diggs or to Sherfield. Everything else was dink and dunks to running backs or tight ends. And it's a glaring issue that the Bills really need to address this offseason, because if you take away Diggs, then you're taking away, obviously, Josh's favorite weapon, but you're taking away a big chunk of the passing game, because Josh doesn't have anybody else to throw to. And, late there in the fourth quarter on the actually, I don't think it was late in the fourth quarter, but it was the yeah, it was late. It was towards the end of the game, and Davis did like a double move and was able to get separation. And if Josh would have seen him, it would have been a wide open touchdown that would have given the Bills the touchdown lead rather than the field goal lead they ended up with. And yes, there was pressure in his face. Josh didn't have time to look at him or look for him that far downfield. He made the throw to the sideline for Kincaid that was incomplete, but then they do a zoom into Davis coming off the field. He's mad and yelling and got this this look on his face like, what are you doing? I'm wide open. And it's like, in Josh's defense, he's probably not looking for you anymore. You have proven time and time again that you're not reliable. And I think maybe when it comes down to the end of these games where you absolutely have to have a big play, I think Gabe has played himself out of that role in Josh's eyes, and that very well could have been the case. And that's definitely something that they're going to have to address going forward. And we'll see. They got Justin Shorter on the practice squad. I'm hoping that maybe he gets elevated for one of these games just to see what you got in him. The Bills were really high on him in the preseason, and haven't seen him this season, during the regular season. But who knows? I mean, it's definitely something to at least give a shot at, because, like I said, once defenses take Diggs away, Josh is basically looking for James Cook or Kincaid or Knox now that he's back. So, yeah, I mean, and then the other note just broke about an hour ago is McDermott during his Monday presser was saying that there's a chance that the Bills get Daquan Jones back, and man, I tell you what, if he's able to somehow work his way back by the end of the season and Buffalo was to sneak into the playoffs, man, that would be a huge addition back to that Bills defensive line. So, something to watch there. But anyway, rant over for now. Like I said, I've kind of sat and festered on this one today and just listening to all the news outlets, taking away from what the Bills did yesterday and focusing on a penalty that was correctly called by the officials, and kind of sat with it, festered with it, wanted to put something in a video, obviously do my recap and give my 2 cents on what I thought of it. But we'll move on now. Bills, like I said, 7-6, thick of this AFC wildcard playoff push, and big game this week upcoming at home versus Dallas. Dallas, obviously, in my eyes, I think they're the hottest team in the league right now, and it'll be a fun test. We'll see if McDermott's defense will rise up to the occasion once again, and who knows, man, we could be sitting here next week talking about an 8-6 ball club that maybe has a playoff spot in the future. So until then, we will see y'all next week. Appreciate y'all listening. If I missed anything, drop us a comment. I'll respond back or address it next week. But appreciate y'all once again. See you next week. Go Bills.